Fancy that!
Have you ever been stuck? You're invited to a fancy dress party, but you can't sew. You can't even come up with any fancy ideas. Well, don't worry about it, because with a little help from Louise, Emma and Josie, I'm going to show you how to make cheap, imaginative fancy dress costumes for parties throughout the year. This is dressmaking for people who just don't like sewing. Emma makes a very pretty little flower fairy, and although this costume looks as if it cost a crock of gold, it comes very much cheaper. This party gear is quick and simple to make and costs next to nothing. To make this costume, you need to follow a few basic principles, which I'll show you now, so that when that party invitation hits the doormat, you'll be raring to go. Remember that all the costumes in this series can be adapted for adults and children, and I'd be very interested to see how this fairy outfit is adapted for a 15-stone Hulk. Now, to make the petals on the skirt, it's best to get some silky material, a bit like this. But the problem with this silky material is that it tends to fray a bit. Now, there are two ways of dealing with this. You can either sew on or iron on some interfacing, which is a good idea but can be a bit expensive. Or you can do this. Now, after cutting out your petal using a template, if I just move all these, turn it over onto the wrong side, and then, using rubberized glue, paint around the edges all the way around, and once that's done and left to dry, you'll then find that the fabric's a lot easier to handle. Because Emma is quite small, her costume has been made from 8 petals. The top petals were made from netting, giving the skirt a stunning 3D effect that's easy to recreate. The petal template has been used to cut out petals made of net as well. And then they're decorated using a couple of sequins stuck on, because that will give it a nice little shimmer. And once they've all dried, then it will look something like that. Now that net is placed over the silky petal, and then both of them stapled into place. And then this lovely thick ribbon is placed over the top and tied to hide all the edges. Our magical flower fairy is wearing a little hat to match the petal skirt. It's just as easy to make as the skirt was. The smaller petal shapes were made just like the others, and you need 2 for each petal, because by sticking those together, you actually have 2 shiny sides. Each one was covered with a piece of netting decorated with some eye-catching sequins like these, and then stapled onto a circle of yellow felt. And then, to hide all the bits that you don't want to see, get another circular piece of shiny material, some wadding, a piece of card, and stick that all down. Decorate it like that, and then stick a hairband underneath. A magic flower fairy costume that looks dazzling, and I've made it without waving a magic wand. And now some even simpler ideas for Mad March parties. First, here's a fairly traditional Easter hat idea with a new twist. This hat isn't a hat. It's huge flowers made from tissue paper and cotton buds. This Queen of Hearts costume was decorated with potato prints. Well, if you thought that was quick, you haven't seen anything yet. I'm about to make an Easter bunny costume for a little white rabbit who's late for a very important date, and I'm going to have to make it in record time. So to begin with, I'll tell you that if you want to copy me, you need the basics, which is a completely white outfit from head to foot, but we don't want these shoes on, do we, Josie? So why don't you quickly run over there and in record time take your shoes off, and I'll come over here and I'll tell you how to make this. Now, basically, Of course, you'll need to start off with the ears, so I've just made an ear template, which I've covered over with some fake fur and a little bit of pink felt in the middle there. And it's all on an elastic band, which I've just stapled together, so there's a nice little hairband. And another one with some fake fur, just to cover all the edges there. The next thing you need to do, of course, is make a little Easter bunny tail, and that's just some more fake fur scrunched together with some sticky on the back, ready to go onto her tail. The waist jacket, you can use your own child's waist jacket for this. It doesn't matter because it's not going to get ruined, because if you just get scraps of material with some double-sided tape, stick them all over, when they come off they won't mark the sweatshirt. And finally, the bunny's feet. I've just used some white socks with some wadding in the bottom and an inner sole there. If you haven't got an inner sole, a piece of card will do. And that's basically it. So now I've just got to get my little Easter bunny ready. Okay, so if you put that one on, I'll put this one on. Feet in. You got those shoes off quickly, didn't you? Good girl. Really good teamwork. Oh, I'm not sure if I'm getting this on as quickly as you can. Do you want to try that one for me? You do that. Excellent. Quick. Over here now. This way. All right, the first thing, put this hairband on. You are going to look like the best rabbit in town. Put your ponytail behind that. If I get anything caught, you must let me know, okay? All right, this one over. Back up there. That's it, and you can put that on, can't you? Should we do this one together? Okay, up. Fab, excellent. And you're looking like a little bunny already. Do this. Oh, marvellous, marvellous, getting there. What about bunny tail? Turn around, and we'll just show everybody what I've done, because we put a little bit of sticky on your bottom there, haven't we? So these two should stick together, and they have. Perfect. Waist jacket time. Arms in. Quick. Oh, you're a fantastic little bunny rabbit. Yes, you know you're late for that date. Here's your carrot. Oh, one more thing before we go. No rabbit can go off without a little nose. There we go. And shall I give you some rabbit's whiskers now?
Yes.
Yeah. There. And there. I'll do some on the other side. And there. Oops. Oh, you look like a perfect one. Go on, look at yourself in the mirror now. What do you think? Like it? Many of the materials used in this programme are potentially flammable, so please make sure that costumes, and especially children, are kept away from sources of heat and fire. There you have it, fantastic fancy dress costumes made in the nick of time. Enjoy those spring parties.
If you'd like the booklet that accompanies this series, please send a cheque or postal order for £3.50 payable to BSS. To fancy that, P.O. Box 7, London W5 2GQ.